It all started with a single scream, raw, guttural, and so full of pain that it made the camera jolt. Rasheeda, always the poised queen of composure, was now pacing barefoot across the studio floor. Her tears streaking through layers of flawless makeup, her voice trembling with betrayal. "How could you, Kirk? How could you do this to me?" Again. The silence that followed wasn't peace, it was tension thick enough to split the screen. And just when fans thought they had seen every ounce of drama this broken dynasty could deliver, Jasmine stepped into frame with a newborn cradled in her arms. "He's yours, Kirk," she said, locking eyes with him. Gasps erupted both on set and across social media as the scene unfolded in real time. What followed was pure chaos. Chairs scraped, cameras shook, and Rasheeda collapsed into a sobbing heap. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, again, but this time, something inside Rasheeda snapped. The woman who had stood by Kirk through cheating scandals, secret kids, and every dirty lie imaginable had finally reached her limit. And what the cameras captured next? Let's just say, reality TV has never seen anything like this. Stay tuned. You won't believe what happened next. It all began with an uninvited message, a ping that Rasheeda had almost ignored, but fate has a cruel way of making sure the truth finds its way through. It was a DM sent anonymously, with a grainy video attached. Her finger hovered for a second before she tapped it, not knowing it would unleash a wave of chaos that would shatter the fragile threads holding her marriage and her sanity together. The video showed Kirk, unmistakably Kirk, seated in the dim back corner of a lounge in Atlanta. Across from him sat Jasmine, her hand resting on her slightly swollen belly. "You ready for this again?" Jasmine's voice whispered through the speakers. But it was the way Kirk reached out to touch her stomach that made Rasheeda drop the phone. She gasped like the air had been sucked out of the room. Her body locked, knees buckled, and she fell into the couch behind her, the shock crashing through her like a wave of nausea. "This can't be real," she murmured, but it was. The timestamp was just 3 weeks ago. Her world was crumbling again. And this time, it felt like there would be no coming back. The next morning, cameras rolled as Rasheeda confronted Kirk in their kitchen. The air was thick with tension. "Is there something you want to tell me, Kirk, or should I just show you the video?" she asked, her voice eerily calm. Kirk, used to dodging bullets, tried to act confused. "What video? What you talkin' about, Rasheeda?" But the second she pressed play, and Jasmine's voice filled the kitchen, his shoulders slumped, the mask cracked. "It ain't what it looks like," he mumbled, but Rasheeda wasn't buying it. "You said you were done with her. You said that chapter was closed," she screamed, throwing a glass that shattered against the fridge. Kirk stepped forward, trying to grab her arm, but she backed away. "Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me," she said, voice trembling. The silence that followed was deafening. Kirk.
What's your secret to stay happily married after all these years?
You know what? I think with Kirk and I is more, I hate to even say this because people just talk so much, but it's the communication and really like understanding each other, because over time, just because you're married to somebody doesn't mean you really know them like you should or understand them like you should. And throughout years, I guess for us, because we've been together for such a long time, you evolve and change in life as you get older. So understanding each other and being open to that, you know what I'm saying? Right. And then most of anything, really communicating with each other and just being real with each other.
The words hung in the air like poison. As the confrontation exploded, the kids Carter and Kai stood silently in the hallway, witnessing the latest fracture in their already broken home. Carter, old enough to understand, looked devastated. Rasheeda caught his eyes and immediately softened. "Go to your room, baby, please." He obeyed, but the damage was done. Kirk tried to change the subject. "Look, I made a mistake, but it's not even confirmed it's mine." But even he didn't believe that. The blood drained from Rasheeda's face. "Don't act like you don't know what you've done. I've seen enough. The lies, the disrespect, it never ends with you." She wiped her tears, straightened up, and walked out of the kitchen with purpose. "I need air," she muttered. The camera followed her to the driveway, where she sat in her car, shaking. Fans watching the live feed couldn't believe what they were witnessing. The woman who had held the Frost Empire together through cheating, humiliation, and disrespect had finally cracked. And then came the real shocker. That evening, Jasmine posted a picture. Her new baby just days old. The caption, "Meet King, born of love, not lies, #Frostblood." The internet went into a frenzy. Comments exploded. Is she for real? This woman got nitrogen monoxide, shame. Kirk ain't wrapped too tight. But the comment that went viral came from Rasheeda herself. You can have the man. I'm done fighting for someone who ain't fighting for me. It was a digital mic drop. The post got over 1 million likes in under an hour. Celebrities jumped in. Candy Burris commented, "Stay strong, sis. You deserve peace." Tamar Braxton reposted it with the caption, she said what needed to be said. Even Cardi B chimed in on her Insta story. I hope Rasheeda finds a man that treats her like a queen, because she been one. Kirk remained silent, hiding from the public eye, while Jasmine basked in the attention. But the story wasn't over. Not even close. Rasheeda returned to the set of Boss Moves 2 days later, and producers had no choice but to address the scandal. Cameras captured her, sitting in a white leather chair, visibly thinner, eyes swollen. People think being strong means staying through anything, but sometimes strength means walking away. Her voice cracked. The studio audience went silent. I've built empires, raised children, survived betrayal, but I can't survive another lie. It was the most vulnerable Rasheeda had ever been on camera. Even longtime fans admitted they'd never seen her like this. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Kirk was trying to reach her texts, calls, voice notes. None answered. He showed up at her boutique, begging for 5 minutes. You owe me nothing, she said through the glass, refusing to let him in. You made your choice. Now live with it. But just when the world thought Rasheeda's breakdown was complete, Jasmine did the unthinkable. She requested a paternity test on live television. The producers of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta decided to turn it into a 2-part special, filming Jasmine and Kirk arriving separately at the clinic, and Rasheeda watching the footage from her home. If it ain't his, I'll apologize. But if it is, Jasmine smirked at the camera. Rasheeda better get used to seeing my baby's face around. It was pure manipulation, and fans knew it. Social media turned savage. She really enjoying this, huh? This is sick. She weaponizing that baby. But Jasmine didn't care. She had the spotlight, and she wasn't letting go. At the same time, rumors began to swirl. Sources close to the Frost family claimed Rasheeda was consulting with divorce lawyers. TMZ reported she had quietly moved money into a private account, and was preparing to walk away from the business she shared with Kirk. And the most chilling detail, she hadn't spoken a single word to him in over 10 days. She's done, a close friend told Shade Room. This wasn't just cheating, this was humiliation. And Rasheeda's finally putting herself first. That same day, Rasheeda posted a story from a spa retreat. No caption, just a peaceful waterfall and the sound of wind chimes. Fans flooded the comments, "Heel Queen, you deserve this peace. Let him sit in the mess he made." But while Rasheeda was trying to find a moment of calm, Kirk was spiraling. One of his boys leaked a voice note where Kirk could be heard crying, saying, "I lost my wife, I lost my family, and I don't even know if the baby mine." The leak went viral. Some fans felt sympathy, others mocked him. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. One comment read. But the moment that truly broke the internet came during part 1 of the Boss Moves reunion. Rasheeda appeared via video call, looking radiant but reserved. And when asked if she would ever take Kirk back, she gave the most Rasheeda answer ever. "I took him back before. I forgave more than most women ever would. But this time, I'm not going back. I'm going forward." And just like that, the camera cut to Kirk alone, red-eyed, silent. The silence spoke louder than any words. He knew, everyone knew. The dynasty they had built was crumbling brick by brick, and this time, Rasheeda was not going to stay and rebuild it. She had finally chosen herself. But little did she know, Jasmine wasn't done playing her game yet. And the next move she made would shatter everything Rasheeda thought she had left. Exactly where the first ended, Rasheeda's powerful words, still echoing in the studio, "I'm not going back. I'm going forward." The camera froze on Kirk's stunned expression as the audience absorbed the full weight of her decision. But no sooner had the reunion segment aired than Jasmine jumped back into the spotlight with a move so calculating, it sent shockwaves through every corner of social media. Just 3 days later, Jasmine posted a teaser clip on her Instagram, her holding baby King in one arm, while signing a glossy envelope in the other. Paternity results in, her voice cooed in the background, and "Baby, we got some tea." The caption, "A dynasty deserves a legacy. #Frost confirmed." Within minutes, blogs, fan pages, and Twitter lit up like wildfire. She didn't Tell me this girl ain't do a full reveal video. Rasheeda better sue them both for emotional terrorism. But the damage was done. Jasmine had turned private pain into a public spectacle, and Kirk, whether guilty or just foolish, had played right into her hands. Producers wasted no time capitalizing on the viral moment. A follow-up episode was rushed into production, and cameras followed Jasmine as she strutted into the studio wearing a fire-red blazer and stilettos, baby king in tow. "This is my truth," she said confidently, handing the sealed results to the showrunner. The envelope was opened live on air in front of a studio audience already brimming with anticipation. The moment the words 99% match were read aloud, the room erupted. Gasps, groans, applause, and curses collided in a sonic wave of chaos. Jasmine smiled like she'd just won a court case. "Told y'all," she said, almost smug, but not everyone was clapping. The mood quickly turned when one audience member screamed out, "You ruined a family." And another shouted, "Where's your shame, sis?" Jasmine's face twitched for a second, but she quickly brushed it off with a flick of her hair. "I didn't ruin anything. I just exposed what was already broken." Meanwhile, Rasheeda sat at home watching it all unfold, her hands trembling, her breathing shallow. Her best friend, Kelly, sat beside her, eyes wide. "Girl, that snake really did it." Rasheeda didn't speak. She just stared at the screen, her heart pounding. "They planned this, both of them." "I see it now," she whispered. She stood up, walked over to the mirror, and stared at her reflection like she was meeting herself for the first time. "All these years, I've been protecting Kirk, cleaning up his messes, taking bullets for him while he out here planting legacies with women who don't respect me." Her voice rose with each word. "No more. I'm done being the casualty in his war of lust and ego." But as the fallout escalated, another voice entered the picture: Kirk's eldest daughter, from a previous relationship, Kelsey, posting a raw, unfiltered video to her followers. Kelsey didn't hold back. "I love my dad, but I'm tired of watching him destroy every good thing in his life. Rasheeda's been like a mother to me. She ain't deserved none of this. Jasmine, you need to stop playing victim and start acting like a mother. And dad, get your act together before you end up old and alone with no family left." The internet applauded her honesty. "Kelsey for president," one tweet read. Finally someone saying what needed to be said. Rasheeda reposted the video with a single emoji. It was subtle, but it spoke volumes. The cracks within the Frost family were now visible to the world, and even Kirk's own blood was turning against him. Behind the scenes, Kirk was spiraling. Paparazzi spotted him stumbling out of a club at 3 a.m., looking disheveled and mumbling to himself. Tabloids reported he had checked into a hotel and was refusing to answer calls from producers or his own children. One insider revealed, "He's drinking heavy, lashing out. He thought Rasheeda would come around like she always did, but this time, she really gone." Jasmine, meanwhile, was reveling in her moment. She secured a spot on a new spin-off series, tentatively titled Legacy and Lies, centered on mothers raising children fathered by celebrities. Her storyline, navigating motherhood while managing co-parenting drama with a reluctant father. Viewers called it what it was, a monetized mockery of Rasheeda's pain. Yet in all the noise, Rasheeda stayed quiet. Focused, she returned to her businesses, launched a new skincare line called Resilience by Rasheeda, and started hosting a podcast titled Reclaiming Me, where she interviewed other women who had survived betrayal, heartbreak, and public humiliation. Her first episode opened with her own voice. "Sometimes, the ones you fight for the most are the ones doing the most damage, but healing, that's my new revenge." The podcast shot to #1 on Apple's relationship chart within 24 hours. She was no longer just surviving, she was building an empire from the ashes of the Frost dynasty. But just as Rasheeda was reclaiming her power, a twist emerged that no one saw coming. A former friend of Jasmine's came forward with explosive receipts, voice notes, DMs, even timestamps that hinted Jasmine's pregnancy may have overlapped with another man she had been secretly seeing. An Atlanta club promoter known for flaunting luxury and women on Instagram. Screenshots showed Jasmine texting the man about her pregnancy, asking if they should get a test just in case. The internet exploded again. Wait, WHAT. Not her playing the Maury game. Rasheeda might need to lawyer up. Even Kirk, according to sources, was blindsided. "He's furious," one insider said. "He's talking about suing for fraud. He feels used." Suddenly, the DNA test wasn't the end of the story, it was just another twist in the saga. Rasheeda, upon hearing the news, remained poised. She posted a single quote on her story: "When snakes fight, stay still and let them bite each other." Fans roared. She stay classy through everything, queen behavior. But the damage was already done. The Frost name was in tatters. The family, fractured. And the baby, innocent, caught in a tornado of clout chasing, betrayal, and broken promises. Rasheeda had walked away from the Dynasty, but the storm behind her was still gathering. Jasmine was nowhere near finished. As Rasheeda planned her next move in silence, Jasmine was preparing one final public stunt that would shake the foundation of everything Rasheeda had left. What Jasmine did next left the entire internet gasping for air. Just when it seemed the drama had reached its peak, she announced a live-streamed baby dedication ceremony for King, complete with a celebrity guest list, paid media coverage, and one detail so outrageous it sent shockwaves across the culture. She had invited Kirk and Rasheeda to attend as a family. The invitation was sent publicly via Instagram, tagged to both their accounts, with the caption, "It's time to heal, not hate. This baby deserves truth, peace. And both his parents there." #FrostFamilyMoment. The audacity was beyond comprehension. Fans lost their minds. This ain't no baby blessing. This a PR stunt. She trying to play peacemaker after dropping bombs. Even Rasheeda's closest allies were furious. "She got some nerve," Kelly raged. Does she really think Rasheeda about to show up to bless the result of betrayal on camera? But the world waited. Would Rasheeda go? Would Kirk go alone? Or would they both ignore the circus altogether? Kirk, desperate to save face and, maybe his relationship, attended the event. Cameras caught him arriving in an all-black suit, looking tense and unsure. Jasmine greeted him like they were a happy couple. "Thank you for being here, Daddy," she whispered, handing him the baby. He smiled faintly, holding King awkwardly. In front of the crowd, photographers snapped like wild dogs. Kirk tried to keep it neutral, but his eyes darted toward the door, waiting, hoping Rasheeda would walk in. She never did. Instead, Rasheeda posted a video from a women's empowerment brunch the same day, standing beside figures like C and Angela Rye, smiling and radiant. Her message was clear: "I've outgrown the chaos." But the ceremony carried on, complete with jasmine petals raining from the ceiling, gospel choirs humming in the background, and a pastor giving a carefully scripted blessing that almost sounded like a reality TV audition. Jasmine gave a speech teary-eyed, full of carefully chosen words. "This baby came from a complicated place, but he's here now, and he deserves love, and maybe, one day, forgiveness." Many fans called it manipulative. Others praised her, but for Rasheeda, it was just noise background to a life she was no longer subscribing to. But if Jasmine thought she could control the narrative, she was dead wrong. Just 2 days after the event, an anonymous source leaked a confidential court document. Jasmine had quietly filed for child support just weeks before the ceremony. The same week she had gone on Instagram calling for unity. She had already taken legal steps to make Kirk pay up, literally. Fans were enraged. So the baby blessing was a setup. She playing chess while we thought it was checkers. Kirk was livid. According to insiders, he felt publicly humiliated. She made him hold that baby in front of cameras, act like a loving father, then hit him with paperwork, like a dagger. Kirk reportedly stormed into VH1 offices demanding that future footage of the ceremony be cut from the show. "I got played, she baited me. I ain't signing off on none of that," he was heard yelling. The legal mess didn't stop there. Kirk's lawyer filed a motion questioning the validity of the DNA test, citing new evidence from the alleged club promoter. Jasmine had been secretly texting. The judge responded by ordering a second test, this time conducted by the court. Jasmine, sensing the walls closing in, released another emotional video. In it, she sat on her bed, no makeup, crying softly. "I never wanted any of this," she said. "I was just a woman who loved a man who lied to me. And now I'm the villain." The comments section didn't go easy. "You ain't the villain, girl, you the author. We watched you plan every move. Accountability starts with you." Still, Jasmine pressed forward, announcing a tell-all book deal with a major publishing house, titled Behind the Boutique, My Truth, My Tears. And just like that, she had turned scandal into storyline, into money. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was going viral for all the right reasons. Her podcast Reclaiming Me featured an episode titled When Closure Comes Without an Apology. and it broke download records. In the episode, she shared a cryptic, yet clearly personal reflection: "You don't have to get even. You just have to get quiet. Sometimes, silence hurts more than screaming." Her brand deals surged. New merch launched. Reclaiming Me, hoodies, journals, and skincare bundles sold out overnight. And during a guest appearance on The Real, she was asked if she ever regrets staying with Kirk as long as she did. Her answer: "I don't regret the love. I regret forgetting myself for it." But even amid her glow, there was one last chapter she didn't see coming. A private investigator, hired by Kirk's legal team, uncovered a series of financial discrepancies in the businesses Kirk and Rasheeda still co-owned. According to the report, Jasmine had secretly been in contact with a former Frost business partner, possibly attempting to buy out Kirk's shares in one of the boutiques Rasheeda had built from the ground up. When confronted, Jasmine denied any wrongdoing. "I was looking for investment opportunities," she shrugged in a now-deleted tweet. But the damage was done. Rasheeda was enraged not just at Jasmine, but at Kirk, for exposing her legacy to so much instability. "You brought this mess to my door, and now it's in my books, my business, my name," she said during a private confrontation caught on camera. Kirk had no comeback. He just sat there, head low, hands folded, defeated. At this point, the fans had picked a side. Hashtag Team Rasheeda was trending for days, with support flooding in from celebrities, influencers, and everyday women who had experienced similar betrayals. Even Oprah's team reportedly reached out for a potential interview. Meanwhile, Jasmine's public image took hit after hit. Her book pre-sales tanked. Brand sponsors pulled out. A reality show spin-off she'd been in talks for quietly disappeared, and the club promoter. He did an Instagram live laughing about how he dodged a bullet. "I knew she was messy," he said, "but this messy." Jasmine ended the stream sobbing, logging off mid. Then came the final Rasheeda announced she was officially dissolving all business ties with Kirk Frost. In a statement, released to multiple outlets, she wrote, "It's time to separate, not just emotionally, but financially. I won't let toxic love poison my legacy. I built this with my blood, sweat, and prayers. And from this moment forward, I walk alone, but I walk in peace." It was the end of an era. The Frost dynasty, once a symbol of ride-or-die loyalty, was officially dismantled. Fans cried. Even critics applauded. And as the screen faded to black during the final episode of the season, Rasheeda stood on the balcony of her new condo, the city skyline behind her, her voice narrating, "Sometimes the biggest wins come after the worst heartbreaks. I didn't lose, I learned." But backstage, off camera, Jasmine was pacing, clutching a new envelope. One last secret left to drop. And it was the kind of secret that could set everything ablaze again. Jasmine sat alone in her dimly lit apartment, her fingers trembling as she stared at the envelope in her lap. The last card. The final play. The camera, hidden in the corner of the room by a crew she had personally invited, captured every subtle movement, the twitch in her eye, the bounce of her heel, the breath she sucked in through clenched teeth. She knew exactly what she was doing. Across town, Rasheeda had just toasted to a new business venture with a group of high-powered black female entrepreneurs. Unaware that another bomb was being carefully prepared to drop right into her piece, Jasmine took a deep breath, pulled her phone out, hit record, and began. "This ain't easy for me," she whispered. "But I owe the truth to my son, to myself, and yes, even to Rasheeda." With that, she lifted the envelope into frame and tore it open, revealing an email printout, an official legal document. A new paternity test from the court-appointed lab. Her lips quivered as she read, "Probability of paternity, 0.00%. The silence that followed was deafening. For 3 whole seconds, Jasmine didn't blink. Then she burst into sobs, grabbing the camera, shaking. "He's not Kirk's. He's not Kirk's," she cried, repeating it like a mantra, like she was trying to convince herself it was true. And just like that, everything flipped. The internet imploded within seconds of the video going live. Twitter exploded with disbelief. "Wait, she dragged Rasheeda through hell and the baby ain't even his. Somebody revoked this woman's Wi-Fi privileges. Oh, this girl gotta disappear like a Marvel villain." Blogs ran with the headline, "Jasmine lied. Baby King not Kirk's son." The betrayal was biblical. Rasheeda's fans didn't hold back. Hashtag apologizer shed trended for 48 hours straight. Celebs jumped in. Taraji P. Henson tweeted, "Hugh, the audacity of some folks. Leave Rasheeda alone forever." The public was done. Jasmine had not only lost the moral high ground, she'd torched it, danced on it, and filmed herself doing it. But it wasn't just the fans who were livid. Kirk, upon receiving the results privately, reportedly lost it. According to a crew member, he smashed a glass against the wall of his hotel room and screamed, "I risked everything for this chick, and the baby ain't even mine." VH1 executives held an emergency meeting, worried about whether they could even continue filming the rest of the season. Jasmine, meanwhile, went ghost. She deleted her Instagram, shut down her book pre-orders, and canceled her scheduled podcast interviews. Her inner circle revealed she'd left Atlanta entirely, possibly fleeing to her cousin's home in Texas. No apology, no clarification, just silence. Back at Rasheeda's condo, the energy was different still, peaceful, a rare moment of grace in a year defined by betrayal. When the news reached her, she was mid-meditation. Kelly burst into the room holding her phone, eyes wide. "Girl, you are not gonna believe this," she gasped, shoving the screen into Rasheeda's face. Rasheeda looked down, scanned the headlines, and blinked. "Not his." Kelly nodded. Rasheeda exhaled long and slow before closing her eyes again. "God, don't." "Miss," she whispered, and then, nothing. No tears, no rage, no Instagram post, just peace. For the first time in months, she had nothing left to prove. The world had watched every blow she took, and now, they were watching her rise. But just when it felt like the curtain had closed, VH1 aired one final special, The Reckoning, Rasheeda and the Frost Collapse. It was the highest-rated episode in franchise history. The entire cast gathered, the atmosphere thick with tension. Kirk sat alone on the left side of the stage. Rasheeda, glowing, composed, took her seat on the right. The moderator, young Jock, turned to Rasheeda first. "You've been through a lot this season. How you feeling now that everything's out?" Rasheeda didn't hesitate. "Free," the audience erupted. Jock nodded solemnly and turned to Kirk. "You got played too. Regrets?" Kirk looked like a shell of himself. "Yeah. I regret not listening to my wife when she tried to warn me about snakes in the grass. I let someone weaponize my weaknesses." He turned toward Rasheeda. "I'm sorry," but Rasheeda didn't respond. She just looked at him cool, distant, done. Jasmine wasn't present, but a pre-recorded video played near the end. In it, she sat in a bare room, makeup free, voice hoarse. "I messed up," she admitted. "I lied to myself, and to y'all. I thought I could make Kirk choose me, and in the process, I hurt a woman who did nothing to deserve it. Rasheeda, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Truly, but it was too little, too late." Rasheeda remained unmoved. "Some things you forgive. Some things you outgrow," she said simply. The final moments of the reunion special showed Rasheeda walking away from the set, head high, as her voice narrated, "I stayed too long in places that broke me, but I stayed because I believed love could fix what pain kept breaking. Now, I believe in something else me." The screen faded to black. The Frost Dynasty. Finished. The Jasmine scandal. Buried under the weight of its own lies. And Rasheeda, stronger than ever. She wasn't the woman crying in the corner of her kitchen anymore. She was the empire now. The storm had passed, but the story would be told for years to come. And if Jasmine ever resurfaced, the world would remember exactly how far she went to try and break a queen and how she failed. Miserably. Rasheeda's glow wasn't just survival, it was evolution. In the weeks that followed the final televised blowout, she moved in silence while moving mountains. The betrayal, humiliation, and emotional wreckage she had endured didn't break her, it built her into something sharper, wiser, and more untouchable than ever before. As fans poured in to show love, her businesses flourished like never before. Her skincare line Resilience by Rasheeda tripled in sales. Her podcast Reclaiming Me was picked up by a major network for syndication. Even Forbes ran a feature calling her the woman who turned scandal into a self-made empire. Everyone from young girls to grown women saw her not as a victim, but as a blueprint. In every public appearance, Rasheeda was poised, polished, and peaceful. But behind the scenes, she was making bold moves, legally severing ties with Kirk Frost, buying out his stakes, and acquiring sole ownership of all their joint assets. Was brutal, it was clean, it was final. Kirk, on the other hand, was spiraling into obscurity. After the DNA bombshell revealed Jasmine's child wasn't his, sympathy didn't follow because while the baby might not have been his, the betrayal, the secrecy, the disrespect, All of that was his public apology tour was met with cold shoulders. Fans who once believed in his so-called growth now saw him for what he really was, a man addicted to sabotage. Paparazzi caught him outside the studio alone, looking unshaven and lost. He tried reaching Rasheeda through mutual friends, even showing up to events where she was scheduled to speak. She never responded. Not even a glance. The woman who had once dropped everything to protect him was now walking through life like he no longer existed, and in her silence, she reclaimed her power. As for Jasmine, the fall was harder than anyone could have predicted. Once the puppet master behind one of reality TV's messiest scandals, she became a cautionary tale overnight. Her book deal was dropped. The Legacy and Lies spin-off she had teased was scrapped before it started. Brands that had once seen her as controversial but marketable now saw her as a liability. She went live only once after the scandal fully broke. The video, poorly lit and unedited, showed a tired woman barely holding it together. "I lost myself," she said between sobs. "I lied, and I hurt people who didn't deserve it. I thought if I could just get Kirk to claim us, I'd matter again." But there was no redemption arc this time. The comments were ruthless. "We don't care anymore. You created this mess. Go heal privately." Jasmine's name, once trending daily, vanished from the timelines. She had made herself unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. And yet, amidst all the chaos, there was peace. Not for Jasmine, not for Kirk, but for Rasheeda. She stood alone on a new stage, literally and metaphorically. Booked as the keynote speaker at a women's empowerment conference in LA, she walked out to a standing ovation. Dressed in a white silk suit, she looked like a woman who had walked through fire and came out flameproof. Her speech left no dry eye in the audience. "I thought loyalty meant staying. I thought love meant suffering in silence. But now I know love should never come with bruises to your spirit. It took losing everything to remember who I was before I lost myself trying to keep someone else whole." The crowd roared. Women held their hearts. Bloggers posted the speech everywhere. It went viral again. She ended her speech with a story she had never shared before. "I once asked myself if staying made me weak, but now I realize staying made me stronger, and walking away made me powerful." That sentence echoed across timelines, captions, and hashtags. Influencers began quoting her. Activists praised her. Even Ava DuVernay posted a snippet, calling Rasheeda a living testimony of grace under fire. She wasn't just surviving scandal, she was rewriting the narrative of what it means to be a woman in control of her own story. Meanwhile, Kirk tried one last time. He sent her a handwritten letter, delivered through her assistant. In it, he apologized not just for the cheating, but for the years of emotional labor she had carried on his behalf. "You didn't deserve the man I was, and I'm sorry it took losing you to see that." Rasheeda read it once, then shredded it. "Some apologies are too late," she said calmly, tossing the pieces in the trash. There was no more crying. No more confrontation. No more reunion specials. No more Instagram rants. Just peace. Real, earned, internal peace. And in the closing shot of the final reunion episode, never before aired footage played Rasheeda standing by the water at sunrise. Her reflection shimmering on the surface, wind blowing through her braids. She didn't say a word. She didn't need to. The voiceover from her earlier speech echoed in the background. "Sometimes God won't let peace in until you let chaos go." Then the screen faded to black. That was the end of the story. The Frost dynasty was over. Jasmine had vanished. Kirk was silenced, and Rasheeda. She wasn't just back, she was reborn. So now, with every secret exposed, every lie untangled, and every tear dried, the saga of Rasheeda, Kirk, and Jasmine has come to its thunderous end. What began as another chapter in a messy love triangle morphed into one of the most explosive, emotionally charged, and downright unforgettable storylines reality TV has ever seen. But through every betrayal, through every humiliating headline, and every camera that zoomed in on her pain, Rasheeda never crumbled. Instead, she evolved. From the ashes of a broken marriage and a shattered public image, she rose, not as a woman scorned, but as a woman reborn, unapologetic, unbothered, and completely unbreakable. Kirk lost more than his wife, he lost his protector, his partner, his anchor. Jasmine lost the spotlight she so desperately chased, and the world. The world gained a masterclass in how a queen handles chaos with grace. But now it's your turn. What do you think? Was Rasheeda right to finally walk away for good? Do you think Kirk ever truly understood the damage he caused? And Jasmine, was she just misunderstood? Or did she cross a line that can never be uncrossed? We want to hear everything you think down in the comments below. If you are glued to the drama and living for every jaw-dropping twist, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next wild celebrity breakdown, secret reveal, or power move in the world of entertainment. Because when it comes to love, betrayal, and redemption, reality is always stranger than fiction. Until next time, stay messy, stay curious, and remember, every empire falls, but some queens still rise.